Today we're talking about business. Welcome to the Four Seasons. I'm your host, Ken Johnson. Today we're talking about commerce. And so people want to know, Kim, why do you care about commerce? Isn't commerce bad? You know, all this good stuff. Well, first off, I talked about that. Yes, I do have a few degrees. One of the degrees I have is a master's in business administration. So I do consult sometimes with small businesses. I try to help people with business plans, business models, business culture, business conflict, all these issues, how to improve production, all that. It is a myth that humans started off with bartering. It's a myth. Actually, there has been studies showing that cultures had money before they ever got bartering. There's islands that they have big giant stone, almost coins, that their families would have outside their house, kind of like a bank account. And the only time that they were moved were to pay off massive debts. So you would move this gigantic stone to somebody else, say, okay, I'm paying off my mortgage. Almost. They didn't have mortgages, but to put it in our understanding for contemporary times. I was watching a video and I was explaining to the content creator on YouTube that he was eating a quahog clam, and there was a piece of purple in the clam, and I was explaining that there are some tribes that they would cut out that purple and they would make what we call wampum. And wampum was a type of currency. And that's how they would take these beads and use it. It wasn't trade, it was the currency. They was making their own money. Then above them, they would use whelk, which was white. So it's kind of funny because with wampum, the most amount, or the more white you have, the least valuable the wampum is. And then when you went up to the northern tribes, above that certain range, then the more purple was in it, the less valuable, and more white, it was more valuable, because one was whelk and one was quahog. Most people do not realize it, but the term Dixieland, for the South, well, that comes from a time when banks used to create currency. And there was a bank in New Orleans that they made a $10 bill that was very valuable. People favored it over any other denomination or any other bill that was being fabricated by the banks. And the French term for 10 is dix, so they became called Dixies. So the land of Dixies, or Dixieland. Now Dixie is the number one name used in the southeastern United States. There's roads, there's buildings, businesses, people, you name it, all say Dixie, and most people don't realize it has to do with money. You look at Louisiana Purchase, you look at all these different things with American history. The majority of our good relations that we have with our European cohorts was because we engaged in business matters rather than war. So rather than fighting the French, we just bought them out. And by doing that, we gained massive amounts of territory. They got some capital that they needed, and we didn't have to deal with a war. And so there's a business side. Everything in America is based off of business. whether you want to say it or not. When I'm using restorative justice to talk about the rampant dropout rates and the rampant arrest rates, I had a book reviewer that she's like, Ken, you put down figures, dollar figures, and you attribute it to the children. That those children are a $297,000 loss. That over their life it's a 1 point something other billion dollar loss, and you're attributing them to being losses because we mistreat them, and you're putting a dollar figure on their head. Why do you do that? Because that's what Americans understand. If you can say a dollar amount rather than this is travesty, it becomes something. It's kind of like I had a teacher said, when can I suspend or expel or have a child arrested? I'm going, okay, when you're willing to take $297,000 of your own cash and give it to the government to blow away, to not do one thing to help that child, but you want that child out of your life, then you can do it. She's like, I'd never do it. I'm going, okay, there you go. That's your answer. Don't. But it took a money amount. That's what Americans understand. So you look at the Astors, you look at the look at George Washington. A lot of them made a fortune off of natural resources. They were dealing in tonnages of animals that really desecrated the environment. All right, so now commerce intersects with conservation. See why I do conservation in there with it? I mean, money intersects so much in America. It's kind of like with Native American tribes. They've been moved so many times because people wanted the money, the land, the resources. And so a lot of the battles that Native Americans have won has been over money, because they was finally able to articulate to the government a financial harm, and the courts finally would listen. When I deal in conflict with mediation, a lot of times the only way that people can talk about their conflict is put a dollar amount on it, because they really can't articulate the problem. So business matters. You talk about religion, it is a business. You talk about your artwork, if you're selling it, it's a business. There's a guy, he claims that he can speak to the dead, and he his name is Tyler Henry. Dude is made a business off of that. When you talk to him or you watch him, he says that all he cares about is healing others. Okay, well, there's a dollar figure attached to what he's doing. Everything has a dollar figure. Everything is business. That is the way our society is. And so I study culture. I study conservation. I study conflict. All that's tied to money. All that's tied to business. And so I study business. I hope this has answered some of your questions. If you happen to have a question or comment, just drop it down below. I'll address it. I'm more than happy to help out any way I can, or clarify, or whatever you need. But I'll try to address it. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell so you can get future notifications. And share. Share this video if you like it with your with your family and friends, because this is how my channel grows. And I really do thank you for your support, and I will see you again next time. Bye.